You know how we all talk about discipline? It's almost always framed as this innate personality trait. It's like some people are just born with it, right? They got this gift, and the rest of us, well, we're just not so lucky. But what if that whole way of thinking is completely wrong?
Here is the idea that changes the entire game. Discipline isn't a personality trait at all. It's a technology. And just like any powerful piece of tech, if you don't know how to use it, if you don't understand the user manual, you're just going to get frustrated. You're going to think it's broken when really you just haven't learned how to work with it.
And look, this misunderstanding has huge consequences. I mean, think about traders who blow up their accounts. We're quick to call them undisciplined, but that's not really the full story. A lot of these folks aren't incredibly smart, hardworking people. Their failure wasn't a lack of effort, it was a misunderstanding of what they were supposed to be building. They were trying to be heroes when they should have been architects. We're going to dig into that difference today.
Okay, so first things first, we have to tear down the single biggest myth out there. The idea that discipline is all about willpower. That if you can just grit your teeth and push hard enough, you'll get through. This is an absolutely losing strategy, and we've got the science to prove why.
Psychologists actually have a name for this phenomenon. It's called ego depletion. And the core idea is pretty simple. Your willpower is like a battery. Every single decision you make, what to have for breakfast, how to word that email, whether to hit snooze, and every little temptation you fight off, it all drains power from that one limited source. So by the end of the day, when you're facing your most critical, high-stakes decisions, your battery is already flashing red. So a researcher named Roy Baumeister studied this for decades. And what he found completely flips our idea of discipline upside down. He discovered that the people who seem to have superhuman self-control, they don't actually have more willpower than you or I do. Not at all. What they do is, they build their lives and their environments in a way that requires less willpower. They're not fighting these constant epic battles with temptation. They've rigged the game so the battle never even has to start. And this right here, this perfectly captures the mental shift we all need to make. The old myth says I need more willpower. The reality, the thing that actually works, is building systems that make willpower almost unnecessary. You know that saying, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems? Well, this is exactly what it means. Let's make this super concrete. The trader who consistently follows their plan, who doesn't revenge trade or go on tilt, they haven't found some secret to resisting temptation. No. They've built a system where temptation doesn't even get a vote. They use preset rules, hard stops they can't change in the heat of the moment, maybe even automatic platform shutoffs. They didn't white-knuckle their way to success. They literally engineered it. Now, what's so cool about this is that this idea of building systems, it's not some new productivity hack. It's ancient wisdom. Let's take a look at the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. I mean, this guy was born a slave, he had almost zero control over his external world, yet he became one of the most psychologically free and resilient people to ever live. So, how did he do it? Well, his entire philosophy was built on one profoundly simple yet powerful idea, the dichotomy of control. He taught that everything in the world can be sorted into two buckets. The first bucket contains the very, very few things that are actually within your power. The second bucket contains, well, everything else. Epictetus said that all of our suffering, our anxiety, our frustration, it comes from confusing these two buckets. True power comes from focusing only on the first one. And just look how perfectly this applies to something as intense as trading. What's not in your control? The market's next move. Nope. The final profit or loss of a trade. Can't control it. Whether you end up being right or wrong, totally out of your hands. But what is in your control? The quality of your analysis before you act, the rules you decide to follow, and your behavior after the trade is done, win or lose. That's it. That's the whole game. Epictetus called this your faculty of choice. It's the one thing that no one and no circumstance can ever take away from you. For us, today, we can just call it your process. Your process is the only thing you truly 100% own. You have to protect it. It's everything. Okay, so the philosophy and the psychology are great, but let's get practical. If discipline is architecture, not willpower, how do you actually build this thing? What does the architecture look like? Here's a really simple 3-step blueprint you can use for pretty much anything. First step, write your rules. And I mean physically write them down, not just in your head. This is your personal constitution. You create it when you're calm and rational, so it can guide you when you're stressed and emotional. Step 2,
Design for friction. Make it harder to do the wrong thing and easier to do the right thing. If you impulsively trade from your phone, just delete the app. Add barriers between you and your bad habits. And third, audit your process, not your P&L. At the end of the day, the only question that matters is, did I follow my rules? Yes or no? That's it. That's where the real progress is made. And this really brings us back to the main point. The people who last, whether it's in trading, in business, in anything, they're rarely the most talented people in the room. They are the most consistent architects. They build systems that account for the fact that they're human, that they have flaws, that they're not going to feel motivated every single day. Their systems work even when they don't feel like it. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final thought. The goal isn't to somehow find more willpower. The goal is to engineer your life so you don't need it as much. And that leads to a very pointed, very practical question for you. Seriously, take a second and think about it. In your work, in your health, in your relationships, what's that one critical decision point that you're still leaving up to in-the-moment willpower, where you're just crossing your fingers and hoping that future you is going to be a hero? Find that thing, and then ask yourself, how can I build a system around this? How can I build an architecture that makes the right choice the easy choice? That's the real work of discipline.